Hola everyone! Welcome to the Encourage to Try podcast. My name is Mia and I will be the one to lovingly encourage you to try and continue on the journey of trying. This podcast is for those who are trying whether at work, school, relationships, faith, fitness, business, basically figuring out life. So tune in to the podcast as we talk about these topics and encourage one another to try together. Also, if you are interested in the episode show notes, or if you just want to leave feedback, questions, suggested topics, the links are found in the episode description. So please do check it out. Hola everyone! Welcome back to the podcast. This episode will be a solo one, and the title for this episode is How Your Limits Help You. So without further ado, let's dive into the episode. When you think about limits, what comes to your mind? For me, I think of it as something that hinders me from reaching success. Consequently, I wasn't progressing in my abilities when I had this mindset, which led me to make a much more effective change by looking at my limits from a different and positive perspective. With this perspective, I learned 3 things from my limits that I will be sharing with you. Number 1, my limits helped me be creative and resourceful. Number 2, it helped me prioritize. And lastly, number 3, it helped me develop my character. So let's go to the first one. My limits help me be creative and resourceful. The society we live in promotes the idea that more and new is better, that by having a lot of things will make you look and feel successful, happier, or even productive. But does having more resources help with what you want to accomplish, or does it add more distraction to your life? I, for one, am guilty of this belief, which led me to overlook needs from unnecessary wants. This bad habit of mine not only added physical clutter to my life, but mental clutter as well. Fast forward to today, being in a limited state for both resources and skills, it helped me learn the habit of stretching. I became a so-called stretcher. In Scott Sonnenshine's book entitled Stretch, Unlock the Power of Less and Achieve More Than You Ever Imagined. Stretchers are those who ask what more they can do with what they have, instead of asking what's missing. An article from Inc.com says that when people face scarcity, they give themselves the freedom to use resources in less conventional ways because they have to. The situation demands a mental license that would otherwise remain untapped. It is not to say that having resources is a bad thing. Instead, it focuses on the attitude and habit of maximizing the full potential of what you already have. In my newfound habit of stretching, I was able to see things differently and think creatively. I applied this concept to how to be a good writer. As I was researching, I encountered this quote from Stephen King, which says, "If you want to be a writer, you must do 2 things above all others: read a lot and write a lot." Honestly, I'm not the type to be disciplined in both these areas. I feel bored and find it difficult to concentrate. But this quote says it all for me. So I tried different ways to do writing and reading a habit. After a considerable amount of experimentation or trial and error, I was able to figure out the best approach that worked for me. I often use audiobooks or text to speech to aid my struggle when it comes to reading. Book summaries are also convenient due to the short time it takes for me to get the book's highlights. One of my go-to is quickread.com. They provide both downloadable audio and PDF file of their book summaries. When it comes to writing, I make sure that I write about everything, whether it be an idea for a podcast episode, emotion or circumstance I find hard to process, anything that will allow me to express my creativity through writing. By being able to go through my limited state, I discovered that the internet is not just for entertainment, but rather it offers a lot of free and valuable resources that I used to neglect. I know I'm a bit late to realize this, but this is why the podcast is entitled Encourage to Try, because it is never too late to try and learn new things. Now we go to the second point, which is my limits help me prioritize. As Marissa Mayer, former vice president for search products and user experience at Google, said, constraints shape and focus problems and provide clear challenges to overcome. We all know that there are only so many hours in a day. Our time, energy, focus, and resources are limited. With this, I asked myself, what can I do with what I have that will make a big impact tomorrow? I mainly follow the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, which means that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. My 20% is prioritizing my overall health, such as getting the right amount of sleep, eating nutritious meals, exercising regularly, and feeding my mind through reading. Focusing on the 20% helps me know what is essential on what will give me the energy and focus I need for daily tasks. In my 20%, I also include self-discipline and delayed gratification. In honing my ability to write better, I force myself to read and practice writing daily rather than giving up in the slightest sense of laziness or boredom. Focusing on the 20%, it helped me maximize my potential instead of being overwhelmed with scattered thoughts or effort. These limited activities that I chose to do fill me rather than drain me. Being able to say no to the comfortable things in order for me to gain a much better reward tomorrow. Lastly, my limits help me develop my character. Another quote from Scott Sonnenschein, he shared that take advantage of your disadvantages. Feature the few assets you may have and work harder than anyone else around you. Before the pandemic, I lived life on autopilot. I was still in my corporate job, had no goals, no initiative to improve myself, and I had zero healthy routine. I was deep in my comfort zone. I often resorted to what I felt like doing, such as watching Netflix or scrolling through social media. Instead of working out, reading a book, listening to a podcast, or working on a passion project. But when the pandemic happened, a lot has changed. I no longer have my quote unquote secure 8 to 5 job. I was entirely out of my comfort zone. This outcome forced me to rethink my life choices. As a result, I began my self-taught journey, which gave me the skills that I now use for freelancing gigs, such as video and audio editing, creative materials, and this podcast. My limitations gave me a sense of appreciation and ownership of my success and failures, for I am the byproduct of my choices. This shifted my attitude from entitlement to gratitude. Instead of allowing the circumstances to dictate my choices, I chose to be responsible and accountable by making the most of what I have. Just like a quote from William Penn, do good with what you have, or it will do you no good. Our limits are essential for our growth because humans thrive on challenges. It forces us to be creative, resourceful, and focus on the necessary things. Lastly, our limits, when used correctly, not only help us discover our potential, but outgrow them. Thank you everyone for your time on listening to this podcast. I hope you gained a lot of insight from it. And if you find this podcast helpful, please do share it with your loved ones or to those you think that needs to hear this. I would appreciate it so much if you leave a review via voice message to anchor.fm/encourage to try with Mia, or you can send me a DM through the podcast Instagram account at encourage to try with Mia. See you on the next episode. Bye!